Hi there, I remain yours truly, Maxwell Curry. I want you to listen to this. If you see my mama, Hosanna, tell am say oh Hosanna, I dey forget to Hosanna, I no get a problem, Hosanna. I know a lot of you must have come across that music, but for the Gen Zs, I know that might sound more like mumbo jumbo to you. But for those that actually lived within the years, where it's a period between 1990, late to late 90s, early 2000, that particular track would have actually ring a bell in your mind. I'm speaking of no other person than Daddy Shoki. Now, I want to talk about something very clinical that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. I call it purity of the heart. Purity of the heart. There are some things you do that when you do them when your heart is pure, you don't have to struggle. It just manifests naturally. Now, let me anchor on the story behind that song, that popular song by Daddy Shoki. A lady had issues with the mother-in-law in Ajegule. And the husband, in support of the mother, decided to push the lady out of the house because the lady they actually gave birth to a child. There had not been any child after the marriage. So the mother-in-law just wanted the lady to go so the son can marry another woman. So this supposedly woman ran to Daddy Shoki in Ajegule and explained to him the predicament she was passing through, knowing fully well that the husband is a very good fan of Daddy Shoki, likes Daddy Shoki's music a lot. So probably that would have been a soft spot for him. So this lady ran to Daddy Shoki, told Daddy Shoki everything, and Daddy Shoki was like, "Wow, okay, is your husband at home?" She said, "Yes." "Okay, let's go and see your husband." Daddy Shoki was not even probably in the mood to, go along with her, but he heard the story and was like, "Okay, let me just go and see this man." So he put on his clothes and went with the lady to the house. Upon entering the room where they lived, the husband saw that the Shoki and was shocked. Like, Shoki Baba, so, are you come my house? I'm Shoki Baba. That kind of ecstatic feeling you have for somebody that you only hear his music, see on TV, and now you see the person live in your house. You get so overwhelmed. I strongly believe that what the man would have felt at that very moment. So that Shuki now brought out the story, like a wife came to me and told me you wanted to send her out of the house and blah, blah, blah. And the man said, it's my mother because of the baby and what have you. And then Shuki asked the man, do you love your wife? He said, yes. You want your wife to stay? He said, yes. So the challenge is not having a child. The man affirmed in affirmative that Shuki now said. Now, at that instance is where I want you guys to pay attention to. That the Shuki is not a prophet. Though in his own regard, in his own sense, he prophesies, but to carry that nomenclature of a prophet, he's not. Has not been to a Bible school, a theological school, whereby you study theology. But he made pronouncement that day that because I have heard about this situation, because I've heard about this, 9 months from this hour, your wife will give birth to a child in this house and you all rejoice. That was the proclamation that Ishoki made. He didn't have to fast, he didn't have to pray. He just made the proclamation from a pure heart. That's where I'm driving at. A pure heart. No hatred, no evil ambition, no machinations, no betrayal thoughts, no malice, nothing. The heart is pure. At that moment that Ishoki made that pronouncement, lo and behold, 9 months from that period, the lady took in and gave birth to a child. After giving birth to a child, the lady tried reaching Daddy Shiki. Daddy Shiki was not in Nigeria then. So he now told her that I'm not in town. I went to Germany. If I'm back, I would visit you. So when Daddy Shiki came back to Nigeria, he actually visited the woman as promised. And told the woman that you see what God does. If you are patient with God, God will do his will. And Daddy Shiki now asked the question, would you allow me, let me turn this story into a song so that people can also get motivated and also believe that nothing is impossible. And the lady said, no problem, you can convert it to a song. That is how Daddy Suki brought about that song. If you see my mama, Hosanna, tell and say, oh. Sorry. Sorry, my camera actually fell down because I was actually enjoying the song there. So let's go back to the song again. If you see my mama, Hosanna, tell and say, oh, Hosanna, I didn't forget, oh, Hosanna, I don't get a problem, Hosanna. So that's how the song came about. Pardon my camera fell because I was enjoying the whole song there. Now, what am I driving at now? The purity of the heart, for me, is what makes prayer becomes testimony. You can pray from Monday to Friday and you don't get results because your heart is clogged with so many negativities, bitterness, hatred, bad feeling, malice. Once you have all of this in your heart, not much can be done. Let me take you to the scriptures. In the book of Matthew chapter 8 from verse 5, Jesus was having a rest time and a centurion approached him and said, my servant is laid down with palsy, very sick and tormented. I want you to heal him. And Jesus said, don't worry, I will come with you and heal him. And the centurion said to Jesus, you don't have to come to me. Just say the word and it will be healed. I'm a soldier under authority. I speak to one go and it goes. I speak to one come and it comes. Just say the word and my servant will be healed. Now, at that moment, that centurion was not just speaking. He was actually speaking out of the purity of the heart. His heart was so pure. There were no clogs. There were no baggages. There were no luggages. His heart was clean. So whatsoever that centurion would have asked for at that moment would definitely have come to pass. But Jesus counted to him on that instance that his thoughts, his spiritual heart was for faith. So Jesus counted to him as faith. But it started with the purity of the heart. When your heart is not clogged with any negativity, there is nothing you pray for that will not come to pass. If you sit down and you think of negative thoughts around you, you find out that everything you do henceforth begins to be dragged down by that negative thoughts. Let me share a practical story before I make this video come to an end. I don't want to make it too long. I met a lady who told me that he just broke up with the guy he wanted to get married to. And the guy is actually asking for things he bought for her. And the lady now said that these are my own gains from the relationship. I can't just let them go. These are properties, gadgets, and what have you. So I told the lady that the more you hold on to this thing, the more difficult it will be for you to get a new relationship and move on with your life. Some things you can't have done. You just have to let go so that you can create a breeding ground for newer things to come your way. It took some time to make some kind of convincing to this lady. She later accepted. And she called me the following day and said, sir, do you know that ever since I gave these things out to this guy, I feel this burden just got off me. I don't feel this heaviness inside of me anymore. I don't feel as if there's a drawback to the relationship that I had before now. I don't feel any baggage that I'm carrying. I don't feel any pain inside of me anymore. I said, that is just the impact. The moment your heart is pure, your hands are clean, and you don't feel any negativity around any situation, that situation naturally dies. So I want to draw our attention to this. From this hour, whatever you do, always create a period whereby you have a purity of the heart if you're asking for something. So if you come to God for something, make sure at that very moment you have this purity of the heart. Let your mind be free. And there is nothing you ask of the Lord that He will not actually supply in abundance. I remain yours truly, Maxwell Okore. And don't forget, in 72 hours, anything can happen. See you on top.